Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going into a space that's, well, it's less about verifiable data and more about atmosphere.
The rich, soft architecture of sleep.
Exactly! That's
Yeah.
the perfect phrase for it. We're moving past just the surface of dreams and, straight into the dark that breathes.
That feeling of surrender, that sinking feeling where you slide past the mattress, past logic, really.
Past the walls of the room.
Right, you're in those remembered corridors of the self. This is where the subconscious really holds court.
And it's right there, in that moment of perfect surrender, that a disturbance is introduced.
Ah, yes.
A sound. One that's so precise it just cuts through the silence. It's not loud, but it is insistent.
Bell tick.
The relentless tick. And it feels less like it's coming from outside and more like a secret knocking from inside your own skull.
That's the first clue, isn't it? The sound isn't mechanical, it's organic.
Like a pulse.
A pulse? Or maybe a breath you held for too long and it's finally let go. It's a rhythm you forgot you even knew. And our mission for this deep dive is to really listen to that rhythm, to understand the language of this internal clock.
Okay, so let's unpack the image of the clock itself. Because it's so symbolic. You're pulled awake, and there on the wall, an artifact. A clock that definitely wasn't there before.
Described as ancient, older than untold stories.
Yeah, with this pale ivory porcelain that's cracked, like it's brittle.
And you have to notice the hands. They're described as slender, almost trembling.
Right. Moving with ceremony, not urgency.
Yes. Hesitation almost.
But the most important part, I think, is at the clock face. It's completely blank.
Right. No numbers at all.
Just two hands circling, an empty center. So what's that about? What does that blankness mean?
Well, that's really the key, isn't it? The key to what it's doing. It isn't telling you what time it is.
No.
It's telling you how much time remains. But on a subjective, emotional timeline, it's measuring duration, not minutes.
And the feeling it creates is physical.
Oh, very physical. The stomach tightening, your throat closing up. It's the body remembering a boundary. That gentle but firm hand on your shoulder that says, it's time.
It's time to stop.
Time to stop playing, hiding. Time to stop. And this connects directly to the idea that dreams aren't just random stories. They're messages.
But they're messages that have to be, censored, wrapped in absurdity so the conscious mind can handle them?
Precisely. It's psychological displacement. The true wish or the true fear is too terrifying, so it gets disguised.
Yeah.
Elegantly disguised.
Like a train going into a tunnel?
Or a key in a rusted lock. A staircase with no top. These aren't just quirky images. They are coded symbols for hungers we can't name the daylight.
That makes perfect sense. The content is too raw, so it needs a mask. But here's where it gets really compelling for me. The moment you sit up, the sheets slide away.
Like water.
Yes. And the ticking fundamentally changes. Not just the sound anymore, it shifts texture. It becomes wetter, warmer.
Like a heartbeat heard through skin.
Exactly. Why is that change in texture so significant?
Because it signals the shift from perception to recognition. An external sound, you can dismiss that, a creak in the house.
Sure.
But a sound that changes to the texture of a heartbeat. Warm, wet, visceral vibus. That confirms the source is internal. It's not a warning from outside anymore. It's a pull from within.
And the moment that recognition happens, everything changes.
The whole environment.
You take a step and you're not in your room. Suddenly you're in an endless hallway, lit by this flickering, weak gaslight.
And the walls are papered in these faded floral patterns that seem to breathe. And there are doors lining the sides, all slightly ajar.
And you can hear things behind them, a crying child, some nervous laughter. It's like an archive of your past.
That's exactly it. The ticking is now pulling you deeper. It's not counting seconds anymore. It's counting layers.
Layers of what?
Of you. The journey is stripping away the constructed self. Your name, your job, the carefully built I you show the world. And beneath all that, something ancient starts to hum.
But that has to be a terrifying process, right? Shedding those identities we build for safety. How do you confront what's left?
Through the mirror. You pass a mirror on the wall, and your reflection is, it's blurred. It's shifting. It never settles into the you of right now.
So you see yourself as younger.
Younger, or as a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no one there at all. It's forcing you to meet all the selves you abandoned or repressed along the way.
And this hallway, this process of stripping everything away, it leads somewhere?
It does. It leads to one final door. The ultimate threshold.
What's it like?
Just a single, plain, unmarked door. And behind it is not a monster or some big secret, just the truth.
The truth.
The truth your childhood self knew before shame got in the way, before language created all the boxes for repression.
And right there, at that threshold, the ticking slows. It hesitates, and then it stops.
And you get a moment of complete, absolute silence.
The silence that follows a confession.
Exactly. After the body has finally said what it needed to say.
Yeah.
And that silence is the permission to return. You snap back to your bed, eyes open, heart pounding, but it's pounding from recognition, not fear.
The realization that the clock wasn't an alarm at all, it was a summons.
And a deep, hidden part of you has finally answered.
So this brings us to the core of it, the symphony of longing. The truth that clock was telling. It can't survive in the daylight, which is why it speaks in symbols, but what is that core truth?
This is where we touch the real psychological center, the primal wish, the Wunsch. It's not about wanting a new job or a car. This is much deeper.
It's the desire to be seen.
To be seen, to be touched, to be known, completely. Not as the functional adult, but as the trembling, desiring creature underneath it all.
It's the memory of reaching for closeness before you learned there was something called shame.
Yes. Before needing too much was called weakness.
So the ticking is really the body's oldest story. It's the story of these hungers that were too inconvenient, maybe too messy, so we folded them up and tucked them away.
We labeled them childhood, fantasy.
But they didn't die, they went underground.
And they grew roots. Roots that twine around these deep sensory memories. Bare feet on a warm floor. A mother's voice humming.
Or a father's hand on your shoulder. Large and safe, but also somehow forbidden.
And it's not forbidden because it was dangerous. It was forbidden because the meaning of that profound closeness wasn't allowed to be felt. It couldn't be named. The ticking. The ticking is that buried meaning, knocking to be let in.
So if the clock is replaying this time of desire, this ache for connection, how do we separate that from just, simple physical urges? The text uses the word eros.
That's a vital distinction. This isn't vulgar lust. Eros is the life force itself, the drive for unity.
To submerge.
To connect, to dissolve boundaries. The ticking is following that current, leading you back to a state before separation, before you learn to divide the world into me and not me.
Allowed and forbidden.
Right. And it's asking you the most challenging question of all. How long are you going to keep calling this deep fundamental longing anxiety?
Wow. That's a stunning way to frame it. And then after all that, the journey ends. The ticking stops. Not with a click, but just a gentle stopping.
A cessation. As if it said what it needed to say.
Yeah.
And you're left suspended in that tender space where your body has finally registered its own truth.
Which points to the difference between knowing something and feeling something.
That's the crucial point.
Yeah.
Understanding is the mind's way of taming the wild. Putting things in neat little boxes. But feeling is the body remembering its truth. And that quiet stillness after the ticking stops. It isn't empty. It's full.
Full of what?
Full of that ancient message. You are allowed to want you always were.
I wonder how that changes the memory of the night. Before, you might have thought you were being pulled out of some chaotic dream.
But now you realize.
You were being pulled towards something. Toward the certainty that these dreams aren't distractions at all. They're your life's secret compass.
And that new way of being awake is described as tenderly alert.
Like finding a long-hidden love letter. From yourself.
And the final step isn't to analyze or to act. It's just surrender. Trust.
Trust what, though? Trust that this coded message is more important than your daily to-do list.
Trust the rhythm. The promise isn't to solve the dream. It's simply to lean in the next time the ticking comes. The goal was never to wake you from sleep.
It was to wake you into yourself.
The self you've always been.
And so the soft light of dawn starts to filter in. The ordinary music of the world starts up outside a kettle, traffic. But you're carrying something new. A quiet knowing, like a secret warmth in your chest.
And that really leaves you with one last thought to carry with you. What if the dream doesn't just end when you open your eyes?
What do you mean?
What if it's actually actively becoming you? The most important thing then is to simply carry that rhythm. The echo of the ticking is now woven into your heartbeat because the self that knows the truth of its own deepest longings, well, it's finally fully alive.